Hey everybody, it's your Uncle Bear. So you're going to have to forgive the beard. I did not get back in time. Everybody was closed on Friday because of the 4th on Saturday. I'm never going to understand that. I told my wife, I said, you know what? After this week's run, I'm going to take a few months off for Christmas. But whatever. Anyway, I digress. Today I want to talk about hours of service regulations. Now, of course, you all know my stance on the 14-hour rule. Basically, that it's stupid, and they should go back to the 15-hour midnight to midnight. When they put in that 14-hour rule, it ended up closing a lot of good truck stop cafes. Put a lot of cooks and waitresses out of work. And it took away, and this more importantly than that, well, not really more importantly, I hate to see those people put out of work, but it also made it where the newer drivers on the road didn't have the opportunity to sit around those horseshoe-shaped coffee counters and pick the brains of the old-timers. And don't get me wrong, old-timers pick old-timers' brains too. We don't know everything. And if you think you know everything there is about trucking, you hang up the keys, you're a hazard. But with hours of service regulations, I think there needs to be some common sense stuff too. I had a deal a couple weeks ago where I loaded produce, and I had two delivery points. And the first delivery point held me up for longer than they should. So I was able to get near the second delivery point because they don't allow truck parking on the premises. You can't go in until 2 hours before your appointment. So I thought, okay, well, I'll take my 10 hours at the nearest truck stop, which is like 5 miles away, right? But then, like I say, the first drop held me up, so I couldn't even get a 7-hour break before my appointment time. And you can't, like I say, you can't park there. So you have to choose between being in violation or being late, which is going to cost you however much they want to charge you for being late. Usually it's a couple $100. So yeah, there has to be, the government needs to look at the DOT regulations on that and come up with some common sense solutions, because we are grown-ups driving these trucks. So we need a little leeway. Another thing is, let's say I'm on one thing, a 24-hour break. If you're off duty for a full 24 hours, that should be enough to reset your 70. That should be enough. 24 hours is ample time to get rested up before you go, right? You don't need 34, you need 24. Actually, you don't even need 24. 10 is good. I think the whole reset thing is hours are stupid. If you're off 10, you should be good to go. I think the 70-hour rule's dumb. But I mean, it just is. Nobody says anything about police officers that are running double shifts. They don't have hours of service regulations, and they're walking around with a gun and an itchy trigger finger, some of them, right? So yeah, a 24 hours off is ample time to reset your 70. Another thing is common sense when it comes to weather. Let's say I am leaving and there's a big ice storm coming. Okay? Now, is it safer for me to go, hey, you know what? I know that I've only had 6 hours in the bunk, but there's supposed to be an ice storm coming. I better get the hell out of here. Now, is that safer than waiting for the ice storm to get there and then take off? I don't think it is. I just don't think it is. I think there should be some common sense where you can just take off, and get ahead of the ice storm. Especially if you're going to be going in a direction that the ice storm isn't. If you can get to a point to where the ice storm's not going to touch you at all, to me that's a win. Now, another thing, traffic. A lot of people go, well, traffic is just, if you get into traffic. Now, let me be clear here. There's rush hour traffic and there's rush hour traffic. Have you ever driven through Fort Worth or Austin, Texas? Their rush hour gives new meaning to rush hour. Same with New York. I mean, a lot of your big cities are like that, but Austin, Texas to me, that's worse than Manhattan, New York, It's just ridiculous. But that should be considered adverse conditions, whether there's an accident or not. And they need to be clearer. Construction. If I didn't know there was all this construction, there's a huge backup, which construction changes every week. So I would think that would be an adverse condition. But in order to make our delivery appointments, we need to relook at these hours of service regulations. When I'm home, let's say I get home on Thursday and I need some work done on the truck. Well, the shop can't get me until Friday afternoon. Well, I'm supposed to leave, let's say I'm supposed to leave on Saturday again, but driving over to the shop, which is, say, 10 miles away, that's going to interrupt my 34-hour reset. I think we should be able to not necessarily do personal conveyance over to the shop, but there should be something to where we can be off duty to do it, where it doesn't interrupt our 34-hour reset. We're taking the truck to have it maintained. That shouldn't be. I mean, I drop it off and then I leave and then I come back when it's done. I have my wife come pick me up or whatever, and like I say, why should that have to interrupt our reset? Truck wash, same thing. Let's say I get home on Friday and I'm leaving on Sunday. Well, Saturday I'm not doing anything. Hey, you know what? I'm going to go get the truck washed. Me taking the truck to get it washed should not interrupt my reset at home. Stuff like that needs to be revisited, by the FMCSA and the powers that be. Let me know what you think. And we'll talk to you later. Hey, by the way, I hope you all had a fantastic and safe 4th of July. Hope everybody still got all 10 fingers. And, we'll talk soon. Be safe.